Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Hope that you're having a wonderful day and it will be made a little bit better from game number 3 between Rush and ZeLoT. Again, this is a 4-game ladder series. If you missed the previous couple games, I'd suggest you check them out. I think people do like the, I saw some comments like that people like the clean efficiency sometimes of these games. Very well played, very tight games. This is kind of a funny thing about competitive RTS games, okay? Like, so hear me out. A lot of people like longer, bigger macro games with like tons of fights and crazy stuff going on. And, you know, there are people that like quick, to the point, this guy kills that guy. You know, maybe there was a bit of tension and then someone overcomes and wins. Okay, and those games, the ladder games there, are actually better played than the longer macro-esque games, oftentimes. Not always, but oftentimes, right? As you get into a longer, more crazy game, more mistakes are actually being made, right? Whereas you have games like, for instance, games that ZeLoT plays, they get decided pretty quickly. There's not as much room for mistake on either side, because if ZeLoT screws up, he can no longer kill you, and if you screw up, he kills you, right? So it's kind of like more unforgiving in a way, but at the same time, there's a way to look at it where it's like, oh, this is kind of like better played, if that makes sense, right? Not to say that like honestly, it's harder to do the big, long macro game and try to not make the mistakes there, but yeah, I'm just saying it's... There's like a lot of value to the quick, shorter games, in my opinion. I don't know. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about that. I always thought that was like an interesting way to look at it. Anyways, we're on Retro here for their third game. We have ZeLoT in the top right and Rush in the top left. Rush is going for a walled expansion. This is Zergling Tight, and I'm pretty sure that Marines pop out on the inside, which is nice. And then we have, you know, ZeLoT just with what looks to be a standard 2-hatch play. I imagine he'll just go into Mutalisks. He's really a Muta guy. I feel like you don't ever see him do like 2-hatch Lurker or anything like that. But, you know, sometimes mixing something like that in can be a valid way to try to pick up a quick win. And sometimes it can work against stuff like this, right? If you hide it well, the depots go down if you do a Lurker rush. So sometimes that gets Terran extra behind. Anyways, Rush is making a secondary Marine. We'll see if he goes second barracks or gas here. That's kind of what we're waiting to find out. Honestly, I feel like I would always go second barracks against ZeLoT because he's so aggressive. I could see like a 1-Rax Academy too, but then you don't have any pressure options, right? It would all be mid-game pressures at that point. But honestly, like moving out in the early game, I feel like is kind of scary because ZeLoT, you know, sometimes he will just make mass speedlings. That is a thing that he is willing and able to do. So, yeah, we'll see if Rush is brave enough to go out on the map at all here. Of course, when you have a nice wall like this, it is a little bit easier to do since, you know, the Ling counterattack, you can just land the racks and that'll slow them down a lot. And that is a big thing when dealing with the like 2-Rax Academy Rush builds. So there is the Academy, started well in advance of 4 minutes, and as long as you start that before 4 minutes, you are able to move out pre-Mutalisk timing. So very nice build from Rush. I think he's really utilizing... What? Oh my god. Guys, this is going to be a 2-hatch Lurker drop. That's crazy. Like, I was getting ready for one of these more standard games, but like this is going to get decided extremely quickly. And as I said, it's like good to occasionally mix something like this in. If you're known for something like this, like you'll be in the B ranks basically. Like you won't be able to beat people because again, it's like you have to conceal it. You absolutely have to conceal it. Now, here's the thing. There's some trickiness to this as Terran. See how he's getting a comsat and he's only getting 1 right now. So this is modern greedy play from Terran. So he's only going to have 1 comsat, and he's going to scan. It will probably be the main, and you'll see the Hydralisk then. Then he will instantly get the second because he needs more scans. But he won't be able to see that there is a gas at the natural. And if you see the gas at the natural, you know that it is much more all-in, that there is no third base, that it is possible that there be a drop, right? So he just did it. Oh, he scanned the natural, but he saw the Hydras moving. That was actually a very valuable scan. Oh my God. Like, I thought for sure he would scan up here, but that scan allows him to see, like, oh gosh, you're mining a lot of gas and you have a lot of Hydras out. So he'll make multiple bunkers here. It looks like he's making them behind the depots. So he's a little bit scared of how quickly this could end up coming. Now, oh, good, dude, this is not working at all for ZeLoT. He is getting completely caught. He looks like he's trying to move an Overlord into position for that drop, but Hydras can't really fight here. You don't have range, you don't have speed, and you can see the Marine Medic is absolutely crushing face. So ZeLoT is actually dead. Okay, and this is the type of thing I'm talking about where, like, you need it to be a surprise. It was a perfect scan by Rush. If he had scanned up here, we don't know. Like, well, it might have turned out the same. He might have moved out like that. But yeah, that's going to be game. That's a very fast one, showing kind of the dangers of doing a crazy all-in like this. And that one was so fast, we'll just jump right into game number 4. So getting into game number 4, and we have a very quick SCV coming out. Depot here. I think we might see a hatchery block? Or, I mean, yeah. Okay, so that is surprising. You don't see this very often. He had to send this at basically an 8 barracks timing to make this eBay. But he is going to be blocking this hatchery, and I guarantee you behind this, he'll be going for a gas build. So it'll be like, he'll make the barracks, the gas, secondary depot so that it's completely ling tight, and there you have it. So the idea here from Rush is slow down this expansion so that you can't get a sunken colony up, and then the Vulture is extremely strong. So that's a very high health engineering bay that he can cancel at the last second. ZeLoT sees this, and he's going to immediately start jumping to the same conclusion I am, right? That's kind of the dangerous thing that can go with this. Obviously, this can only be done on 2-player maps, and you probably need to have a position that has a Zergling tight wall as well, honestly, because you're spending so much money in this early game. You can't really be making a bunker or pulling SCVs to defend, right? But right now we have 6 Lings on the way. This will be interesting to see what ZeLoT's going to do, because he's mining a lot of gas. Does he just get Zergling speed? That might be, right? But, I mean, even Zerglings... Oh, God, that's a 1-hatch layer. I wonder what this will be. Because, like, okay... Here's the thing. If you try to go 1-hatch Spire and Rush realizes this and goes 2-port Wraith, he's just going to crush you. If you try to go 1-hatch Lurker and Rush realizes this, he'll simply get, like, mines for his Vultures and crush you, right? So, like, a tech build from Terran absolutely destroys a 1 base, right? Like, there's nothing you can really do off the 1 base. Now, he is expanding. So, like, maybe there's a world where he can get into mutas normally, but that expansion is going to be very late. And, oh, 2 factory. Not what I was expecting. I was going to say this might be the right time for a starport, really. Now, a lot of Lings are coming out. He has Zergling speed, but the huge amount of Lings he's making should not fare well against Vultures. Now, I think this will be a single Vulture into add-on into the speed upgrade. I think, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Like, he could just make units nonstop. Now, you see ZeLoT checks back here, by the way, in case a Vulture's going to be jumped. He doesn't know. There could be a factory out on the map, right? This could have been built out here somewhere, and then the Vulture's already ready to jump, but ZeLoT watches for that. He has a Spire on the way. He has that speed upgrade. First Vulture's coming out. I think the Overlord saw that probably. So I think he's coming out to try to catch this. And yeah, there's actually some terrain in the middle. So that was good micro by Rush. I thought he was going to lose it instantly, but he is going to lose it quickly anyways. Without that speed upgrade, it's a bit tough. Now, he's going no add-on, which is... Excuse me, sorry. That's really fascinating as well. Like, starts an add-on now, but the speed upgrade is very, very slow. This could end up being a siege tank as well. With 2 factories, dude, I don't know. This is wild. This is just not what I expected at all. And the Spire is incredibly, incredibly quick because he did it all in 1 base. Now, he is making Goliaths. Maybe he just goes Goliath range and has to go 2 factory Goliath against a very low econ Zerg. Now, the vultures are coming across, so it has to go even lower econ because you have to make the sunken colony. The Ling's going to come back and try to support that. They probably have to go up the ramp here, unfortunately. Oh my God, the Ling's having a little bit of a hard time, but as that sunken finishes, like the vultures are getting dealt with. So he doesn't really lose drones there. Okay, it's 21 SCVs to 15 drones. We do have Goliath range on the way. We have Goliaths being made. The Goliaths should be enough to block this, but long term, this is a difficult position for Rush. Okay? Like, he can build non-stop Goliaths and non-stop SCVs, basically, and then eventually get a command center, but I don't think an attack timing will open up. As long as, you know, ZeLoT is, like, swooping in and figuring out what's going on, he can build more sunken colonies. I don't think that there's any potential to make a siege tank with siege mode here because you just are not mining enough gas. And just against the 2-hatch layer, you're probably going to need to make not only Goliaths nonstop, but a few missile turrets. I don't think you need too many, but like maybe one here, one here. That's about right. It just helps to zone a little bit with these Goliaths. Now the range upgrade is finishing. Third base coming down for ZeLoT. Also the burrow upgrade, which you basically never see. That is a very rare upgrade. Well, honestly, it's become kind of meta against mech builds because you just don't get science vessels with builds like this. You don't have the gas. No one does it. Like, I mean, there can be later game situations where you have that, but any mech-based opening can't really afford a science vessel. So what we'll see is Lings spread out, one burrowed over where the command center is, and then you just kind of place them in different locations so you see the army movement of the mech army. So that's like a very strong play. It's, again, basically the only time we really see burrow upgrade, like especially in the early game. You do, I mean, you see it some other places too, like late game. It can be good for hiding drones from the eraser, or, you know, you can see it against Protoss sometimes for Hydras to catch shuttles, that type of thing. Anyways, we have a vulture that gets jumped over the mineral patches by this SCV. So he'll at least be able to get this out and do a little bit of scouting, see what's up. We'll see how quickly that gets caught. You can see a kind of a defensive formation with these mutas at the moment. I think, yeah, ZeLoT playing this pretty defensively. He will literally see anything that comes out, and that will give him time to add sunkens. Like, if you see a ton of Goliaths walk down this ramp, you can just add the sunks, and they'll be done by the time they get there. But also, if he just defends these 3 bases well, I mean, 3 times the gas income of your opponent, there's no way Goliaths will beat those mutas, right? It's just, you're not going to be able to, I don't think. So right now, Rush is continually building those Goliaths. He has been continually building SCVs, and he starts his command center. Man, it is honestly a very tough position. I've seen a position like this played before by, I want to say Speed. Yes, I'm fairly certain it was Speed that I saw do something kind of similar to this before, where he actually did tech towards Science Vessel, got his additional upgrades, very slow factory adds, and utilized Science Vessels and got like EMP. In fact, I think I casted the game on this channel. He got EMP to try to deal with Queens later on. So I'm throwing that out as like maybe a possibility to get into a longer game. But right now, the Goliaths, a full group of them going up the side of the map. He's walked over some burrowed Zerglings. So he knows that ZeLoT knows where he is. Okay, so it looks like he walks up there and then walks back. We see ZeLoT here with a lot of mutas. This is over 12 mutas there. He has this base up, but he's actually making another, which is, we're starting to get a little bit out there. It's like, dude, you have 3 drones over here. Do we need this space? Well, the thing is, I think he can get away with it. I think he's kind of accurately figured out what he can do here. Now, the command center lands. Still more workers here for our Terran player. Mutas with the counterattack. This is always a strong move when you get this many mutalisks and this much gas. You can see he does not care. He's just like trading. He is mining a lot more, but not for too long, since we do have that natural expansion up. Now, I think he has +1 attacking. He's going +1 armor. So I think he'll probably stay on mutas. But when you're playing against Mass Goliath, I could see a switch into Hydras, right? But if you do switch into Hydras and Rush feels it out or scouts it out somehow and goes into siege tanks, do we just always get into a big macro game? I think ZeLoT's looking for a way to win this game relatively quickly. Okay, comes in. A lot of mutas. They do have that +1 attack. +1 armor still in the way. +1 attack on the Goliath, and they're going to have +1 armor as well. So, you know, those upgrades for the Goliath actually scale slightly better than the Mutalisk upgrades. A lot of mutas being made, man. That's... This is kind of funny, really, when you look at it, right? Like, he's not mining many minerals. This is really all about gas. He's going to be on 4 geysers soon. 4, that's like... Dude, that's 12 mutas a minute. I don't know that Goliaths will ever be able to beat that. It's only 3 factory Goliaths right now as well. You know, you might look at this as well and say, well, can he get into Valkyries? And the problem with going into Valkyries when you're going mech, and the thing is, there are ways to go Valkyries with mech, either through a bio opener or to go later game into some Valkyries. But if you go for it in this type of game that just opened mech, then if your opponent switches into ground, your army is incredibly weak. You've spent so much money on those Valkyries, and it generally doesn't go well. No one really does it. You have to have the Zerg completely committed with, like, you know, negligent amounts of decision making. Where they're just like, yeah, no, I see all you do is buy anti-air. I'm going to keep going air. You know, that type of thing. So we have a real serious amount of Goliaths right now. This is no joke, the amount of Goliaths he's walking out with. Does he have enough? Because don't forget, when you get, like, they have insane range, but you can put all the mutas basically on the same square. So the mutas will all be firing the entire time. There is a possibility some of the Goliaths are not firing during parts of the battle. Now, I'm not even sure how many he has. In fact, I think we can just do the math. It's like 41 drones and, oh God, he's catching the reinforcements. So see, this is a big problem as well. Picking off a lot of these Goliaths right now. So he kills like 5 Goliaths basically for free. In comes the attack by Rush. I think he should be able to get rid of it. So ZeLoT right now, okay, if we take away 40 from this about, right, that leaves 80. So he probably has around 40 Mutalisks. Okay, somewhere in that range. 35, 40 mutas right now. He is making mass sunken. Now, does 35, 40 mutas beat 30 Goliaths? Well, the counterattack is a good call. You can actually jump on the armory there as well. There's a ton of missile turrets you can see that Rush has purchased here, trying to give himself some opportunity to win this game. Dude, if he wins this is crazy. I thought for sure there would be no chance. But ZeLoT gets on top of the armory. Rush is killing the Sunkens, but I don't think he has enough Goliaths left. We have Goliath still being made, but he can't save this command center, I don't think. The Mutalisk flock is too high. We could get a bunch of Sunkens here as well. A lot of Overlords going down, something to keep in mind. Going after this natural with those drones. Yeah, the command center is gone. Goliaths continue to pop out and have a hard time. He is killing everything that pops out here. He could go up here, maybe get the Spire. Okay, the mutas are going to start to go home. And that is still about 20 mutas. Right around 20 mutas there. You know, I think he should be able to come up here and kill these Goliaths. And if you kill the Goliaths, it's 1 base versus 2. So you still have twice as many bases as your opponent. So did this position get better for Rush or worse? I do think, well, I guess we're just going to decide it. The mutas come up here and they will be able to kill everything off. That is a huge amount of Mutalisks. And Rush, I think, just has to GG from here. GG is called. And that means that this series will end with a 2-2 tie between Rush and ZeLoT playing each other in the ladder. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Definitely some interesting games here. This one was way different. But anyways, thanks very much for watching.